Hey everybody, my name is Fritz Bacon and I'm a filmmaker based in New York City. And today we're going to be talking about the new camera from Lumix, the G9 II. As someone who uses full frame, this camera was a nice change of pace for me, and I'm going to explain sort of the competitive advantage that a micro four thirds system has, especially when you pair it with the new LEICA lenses, the 35-100 and the 100-400. To test it, I took the camera down to Miami, as well as a few different spots in New York City to get a variety of different subjects and lighting conditions. Now, if you've ever used the S5 line of cameras, you're going to have a very familiar feel as far as the body goes, as they're almost identical except they have different sensors and technology inside. I mostly shoot on the S5 IIX these days, so I had it on hand to compare. Now, full frame sensors are all the rage. The micro four thirds of the G9 II really packs a punch. It's the first camera in the G series to have a PDAF implementation in the autofocus system, which really makes tracking moving objects easier and a really snappy autofocus. My neighbor has a motorcycle and volunteered to be my first test subject, and I was really excited to shoot this, and I figured, hey, straight out of the gate, I'm gonna go extreme and shoot at 400 millimeters, which on a full frame camera would be about 800 millimeters. And I really wanted to see how the compression of the lens and the autofocus tracking system in the G9 II would perform, and I was immediately really excited with the results. We then moved into some more pose shots with the 35-100, a little bit closer of a focal length. I was able to, talk to my subject and have him do different things. But ultimately, I was really missing shooting at that 400 focal length. It's so unique for me, something I never shoot at. So I swapped back to that. We went to a different location, and basically my goal was to see if I could sort of put the city skyline nicely in the background. And you'll see here how far away I had to be in certain points, which is not always practical when working with a subject, but this was pretty easy. I set the pose and then I ran away and fully zoomed in, and I was really happy with how these shots came out. Hands down, this is one of the best telephoto systems I've ever used. Being micro four thirds, the overall package of the camera system is extremely small and makes it so easy to travel with. Now, the last time I used a lens with even remotely a close focal length to this was a few years ago. I had a 600 millimeter for an assignment, and I was taking it around the city, and this thing weighed probably about 15 pounds. You can see an image of me holding it here. It was massive. It drew a ton of attention, which, I believe that lens was about 12 grand, and you really don't want that much attention on you when you're in New York. Now with the G9 II, the size difference is night and day. The 100-400, which is the biggest lens, fits right into an everyday backpack. I could throw it in a tote. I was walking around with this all day long. When I had it out, I never got even a second glance. It just sort of blends in with the rest of the cameras. And for me, that's really important, especially when I travel. I try to stay under the radar and use systems that are very low key while still giving me a really cool, incredible image. Great example of this was on my trip to Miami. I was there for 2 days. I had one bag. I threw the G9 II in with the 35-100. It fit into the bag perfectly, and being so small, I was able to carry this with me everywhere. I took it bike riding, I took it to the beach, and I've never really traveled with a zoom lens, so it was a much different experience for me, and I got to shoot images that were really different and unique. Now, light isn't always available, so for my last test shoot, I went out to sort of capture blue hour, and as luck would have it, it was extremely overcast and a little rainy. So for most of these images, I was shooting around an ISO of 2500 and a shutter speed of 1/50, which is not ideal conditions, especially when you're shooting at focal lengths like these. But with the 8-stop body image stabilization that's built into the G9 II, I was able to get workable images. Now, all of these benefits of the stills also translates into a pretty robust video system. I was really impressed with the footage I was able to capture. It's unlike anything else I've shot because I'm so zoomed in and I'm just holding it with my hand. The 7.5 stop dual IBIS stabilization 2 system that is built in really allowed me to shoot at the maximum focal length without much shakiness at all. I really didn't know what to expect when I got this camera. As I've said throughout the video, I am used to shooting full frame, and being micro four thirds, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to get the same quality of images that I get from my full frame systems. But after having this for a few days and putting it through a good amount of tests, I would definitely put this in my kit, no problem. As filmmaking and photography grow to be incredibly competitive fields, I'm always looking for a leg up or a way to shoot things new in a way that not many other people can do. And this system sort of unlocks a whole new perspective for me. I can now shoot extremely zoomed in and get away with doing it in a really compact system. Basically, if I had to sum up this camera in one sentence, or maybe even this video in one sentence, this is a telescope that you can put in your bag, and whatever you point it at, it'll capture it.